Gather around the table as we dive into the world of Spanish tapas. A culinary party town where you don't have to decide on just one thing to eat, but where you can instead have a bit of everything. We're in Spain for 2 weeks to discover the origin of tapas, how they developed over time, and the fairly wide range of foods that now make up the category. Join us as we eat our way from northern to southern Spain, treating and expanding our palates to a whirlwind and eventually shooting our shot at our own tapas creations in a family competition to see who can make the best tapa. Here we go. The name tapas comes from the Spanish verb tapar, which means to cover. Think of southern Spain hundreds of years ago with people going into bars to drink on a hot summer day with no air conditioning. Their drinks had flies and other bugs buzzing around them, and so patrons would simply place a piece of bread on top of their glasses to keep the bugs out. This piece of bread became a staple of bars and was the first tapa. We think that tapas have developed into 3 distinct categories: traditional, pinchos, and fusion. But let's begin one at a time, and we start in Madrid with what we would call traditional Spanish tapas. We don't like to spend a ton at restaurants, and we like to try a lot of things. 2 things that tapas achieve. Here in Madrid, we went to a tapas bar and tried 2 of the most traditional tapas dishes you can find on menus across the country. First, garlic prawns, gambas al ajillo, and second, a slice of Spanish tortilla, a potato and egg pie. Yes, you may.
Let's try it. You had this tortilla yet?
No.
It's as good as I remember.
This one kind of looks like Mexican food, so I don't know if this is particularly Cuban. Tastes Mexican. We just so happened to be in Madrid on International Croqueta Day, so that night we set out to find some of the staple tapa. Croquetas are sort of the junk food of tapas, and they're often consumed while drinking a lot at night, which is why we had this croqueta bar all to ourselves at 7 p.m.
Yes, I'm excited, but
Apparently croquetas are a French food actually, and it was made from leftover foods that they had sitting around at the end of the day and the leftover bread, and they would kind of combine it all together and fry it, and that would make the croqueta.
what's croqueta?
It's kind of like bread filled with other kinds of foods and then fried, so we'll see how it is.
Fried.
I always love a good squid ink. Pretty typical of tapas, so. Alright, these are way more pleasant than the last ones we had. I swear the ones that we had before were like fried mayo. These actually have a nice flavor to them.
I really don't get a whole lot of squid. It kind of tastes like state fair food to me a little bit.
Yeah. There's another popular tapa that we never ordered in a bar, but went to find for ourselves out in the countryside. Surely you've heard of Iberico Ham, but if not, don't worry. We're driving out to Guijuelo today, a town with more than 150 Iberian ham factories and processors. We literally can smell it coming in through the vents. Salty meats. Pig statues and signs greet you as you enter the town, and we pulled up to a factory where we hoped we could get a tour of how the hams are made. But it's really interesting looking at all the Iberico legs here in Spain because they leave the entire hoof on the leg. I think they usually take off the hoof in the US to make it look a little less like you just sawed off the leg of a pig. We thought it was crazy that all these producers leave the hoof attached. Even the door handle of this shop was a pig hoof. Apparently this exact thing is what got Iberico ham banned to be imported into the United States from the 80s until 2005, until some Spanish producers agreed to start cutting off the hoof. We visited a bunch of shops, and sadly, they all said that we needed a reservation to tour, but none had bothered to answer our emails asking for one in the preceding weeks, which was unfortunate. What we learned though is that Iberico ham is derived from a specific breed of pigs. Cured meat products in Spain and sold abroad from Spain have to contain 50 to 100% of Iberian black pig DNA. Because of this regulation, most of the Iberico sold is either exactly 50% Iberian black to be a little bit cheaper, or it's 100% Iberian black to be the more pure. One shop informed us that the purest and most sought out form of Iberico comes from 100% black Iberico pigs that consume an almost entirely acorn diet, which is their natural diet. These acorn-fed pigs are akin to grass-fed beef. The animal is allowed to graze on its natural diet, which rather unshockingly creates the best tasting product. God knew what he was doing with acorns, and they weren't for hoarding squirrels, but for delicious, plump Iberian black pigs. We picked up a €14 pack of this 100% Iberian acorn-fed cured ham and took it to our apartment to enjoy, strangely, standing up in the kitchen. Alright, I just broke into Selección Gourmet, which is our Iberico ham. €14 for 36 little kind of mini medallions of it. We bought this one specifically because it was the 100% Iberico breed. Alright, baby. You wanna try?
Whoa.
Can I try some?
Yes.
Is it far superior?
It's salty, it's lean, and it's firm. I kind of like it when it's firm because it is more like a jerky.
I'm gonna bite.
Not nearly as fatty. You want a bite? Oh yeah.
It's just salty.
It's just salty. This is very expensive ham. I want to know what you think about it. Just savor it, take it in, feel the flavors. What do you think?
Ooh, it tastes exactly like the prosciutto.
Well, Chris says, because the prosciutto was only $3. Next, we found ourselves 5 hours north of Madrid in San Sebastian. We came to this medium-sized seaside town specifically for a different category of tapas called pinchos. Pincho comes from the verb pinchar, which means to prick or prod. Why? Because the often multi-piece pinchos are usually held up by a stabilizing skewer, generally a toothpick. And pincho, spelled phonetically to English speakers, is actually spelled pincho in this area, which is Basque country, an area of Spain and France with its own language. And this is a foodie town. Supposedly over 100 years ago, a bunch of men got together and started a club because they were tired of the regulations around when bars could serve drinks. And now there are over 1,000 of these private clubs, which have developed into gastronomic societies where members bring in a bag of groceries and cook elaborate meals for each other and often compete to develop new types of pinchos. We walked by a ton of these clubs and reached out to several locals, some of whom tried their best to gain us a visit into one of these clubs. Sadly, no takers. These clubs are almost entirely men only, and are generally insulated groups of friends. I suppose opening their doors to two crazy little girls to showcase their private club wasn't of interest. But what was open were the hundreds of pincho bars in town, and we spent 2 days hopping around to all of them. Ir de tapas translates to go for tapas, but it's a common phrase in Spain that describes what amounts to a pub crawl that combines food and drink. And for teetotalers like us, it's a pinchos bar crawl where we get a little bite or two from a bunch of different places. Oh, that's it.
There's some food.
Entire face.
Japanese.
Japanese?
Yes, it tastes like Japanese food. It tastes like...
Yeah.
What part of it is it?
It tastes like the filling for like a California roll, I think.
Me gustan roast pinchos. The octopus was my favorite.
Sitting for pinchos is not the tradition. Instead, eating while you stand, either at the bar or at high tables, is the usual way. But all of the pinchos bars that we passed on our first day were slammed, which is why we settled into our first two places with comfy booths. We realized to get a spot at the bar we'd have to be the early birds. So the next day, we beat down the door of this place just as the rollers were being pulled up before the 11 a.m. opening time. Pinchos draw us back to that original origin story of the piece of bread on top of the drink, because most pinchos have a bread base. The toothpicked pinchos are served at room temperature, and one of the original pinchos, called the Gilda, was invented in this pinchos bar in 1942 and consists of guindilla peppers, anchovies, and olives skewered together on a toothpick. We tried the original Gilda from the bar that invented it, with our eldest daughter taking the first bite. Try one of these bad boys. Oh, it's really spicy. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry, baby.
Try it.
Oh man, that actually is like super spicy.
Is it seriously?
She couldn't handle the heat of the pepper, but our little one started downing the hot peppers straight up. She loves the spice. Pinchos calientes are where the line really starts to get blurred between pinchos and tapas. Because if you go into any pinchos bar, there's a glass case with pre-made pinchos that are ready to eat right away, and they're served at room temperature, but most bars also have a menu called pinchos calientes, which is stuff that they can whip up in the back kitchen and be out in a few minutes. These small plates are really the same as tapas, and we found that pinchos calientes are really just a mark of Basque country. In Madrid, they're just tapas. Whether tapa or pincho, in San Sebastián, this pincho caliente was one of the best dishes we had in Spain.
Really good.
You ordered really well. Well done.
Number one, pretty good.
Okay. That has a lot of depth of flavor.
Doesn't it?
I think it's like the squid ink and the herb oil. Man, that's delicious. That's gonna be really good with the bread dipped in it. So, those are traditional tapas, both Central Spanish tapas and the Basque Country competitor in pinchos. But tapas have gotten funky as of late. As with any cosmopolitan, globalized city, Madrid has ushered in a wave of culinary fusion that is vividly apparent at Mercado de San Miguel, a food hall in central Madrid. Tapas extend their meaning beyond Spanish to include sushi, Asian taco buns, one with pulpo and a guindilla pepper, some dedicated to smoked salmon, others to lobster rolls and dim sum. And alongside all this fusion are the Spanish staples of Iberico platters and pinchos. We even indulged in the most American offering in the Mercado, a burger.
That looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Please don't judge us. Our carnivorous daughter stopped in her tracks at this stall that specialized in more American palate meats. She's honestly maybe never had a burger in her life, so her request to split a mini burger with her sister was just one that I could not say no to.
It's like the most American tapa ever.
Oh yeah. You ready? Hop in. Oh.
Now we are here in this beautiful apartment in Seville. There's speculation as to the exact birthplace of tapas, but many suspect Andalusia can lay claim to some of the first. And in that spirit of creativity, we decided to take everything we've learned the last couple of weeks and put a spin on our own tapas creations. So this afternoon, we'll be forming our own gastronomic society of 4 and cooking these dishes to see which of us can whip out the best plate.
So if you were to make a tapa or a pincho, what would you make?
You know what I'm gonna make? I think I might make this little pita thing stuffed with prosciutto and goat cheese and put some tomatoes in there. And no, I'm not gonna put green beans in there because I want you to be able to try it. I know you don't really like that. And I'm gonna put a little honey in there. Put some dates in there too. I will make some prosciutto and some wild tomatoes. You gotta eat wild tomatoes. Is that wild chicken? And I will put some dates in it. And I will put some shrimp in it.
You want yours to be hot or cold?
Warm, like a one shrimp.
Do you want it to be cooked in a little dish or on a skewer, or how do you want it?
You want it on skewer?
You want it on a skewer?
First up, our little one. Her ingredient list was probably the shortest of any of ours, and she got straight to work helping prep her veggies, peeling garlic, chopping onions, and staring me down so that I wouldn't steal her culinary secrets for my own dish. She got some onions and garlic working in the pan with some olive oil, and she eventually added some paprika. Finally, the shrimp went in for a few minutes and she was ready to plate her little pincho for everyone to try. 1 shrimp, 1 garlic clove, and a sweet pepper, and we were ready.
Is there pineapple in here?
Will you tell us what you made for us today?
I made shrimp and have pepper on it and have stew.
Alright, everyone, enjoy.
Good girl. Yeah, just go ahead, just like that.
It's very nice. It's not too spicy. It's very well balanced.
Very yummy.
And the garlic's really mellowed out.
Who's next? Are you next? All right, sister's going next.
Next, our eldest got a turn. As you saw from her pre-cook interview, she had a very clear plan in mind of what she wanted to make.
Then we decided I have all my ingredients: salt and pepper, oregano, all my spices, prosciutto. There was no pita, so I got these oat breads.
She got that cut up and toasted, and then got her tomato mixture cooking in the pan. Next, we trimmed the prosciutto, and she was ready to plate. A base of toasted bread, then the warm tomato sauce, some goat's cheese, and a date on top.
Daddy, I'm giving you 3 pieces of prosciutto and a water cheese.
Finished with a toothpick to pinchofy it, and a drizzle of honey at the end.
What did you make for us today?
It was pizza, I had baked, prosciutto,
How can we expect for it to taste?
sweet.
Are you one biting this? Two biting this? I feel like I can't one bite her. Okay. That's
Okay.
a yummy bite, baby.
What do you think, dude? It's actually pretty good.
Honestly, good. I would not have thought at all to do the tomatoes. Whenever she said tomatoes, I was like, okay, well.
I know, I was kind of like,
Dude, it works.
Well, because you guys cooked it down into something,
Yeah.
that was nice.
I like the oregano, Oz. I can actually taste that oregano. It actually adds something.
Wow, it's really good. I gotta say, I'm a little more nervous now. I feel like I have to deliver.
Yeah, you're up next.
Am I? Third up, it was my turn. I wanted to try something like the delicious pincho caliente from San Sebastian, but didn't want to copy the dish exactly. So I elected to create a brightly colored base with some seared seafood on top. I'd always wanted to try a romesco sauce, which is Spanish, so I got my almonds blanching. Once they were ready, I pulled off the skins and threw them into the pot where I had the red peppers cooking down. Luckily, this place had an immersion blender, which I'd never used before. As I started pulsing the blender, the sauce took shape. It was shockingly effective and just enough to create what I wanted. I've always wanted to try this.
You've got your foodie face on.
I'm pumped. I'm looking at that romesco, the color's just looking really nice. I'm excited to get it plated. The octopus we bought had been partially cooked by the sous vide method, so all it took to bring it to life was some salt, pepper, and a hard sear in the pan, and I was ready to plate. A bed of bright orange sauce and one tentacle each, while just one of these plates could probably be shared as a tapa. I gave us each our own because this was kind of our lunch.
What did you make for us today, Daddy?
I made pulpo on romesco. All right, let's taste.
Good. For supermarket ingredients.
Whoa.
That sauce is to die for.
Who
What do
made
you think?
Whoa.
Very well done.
Well done.
They're all just different. Every one of them has been totally different.
Every single time we saw pulpo on the menu, we haven't gotten it because it just looked overpriced. And I think this absolutely confirms that because we made 4 plates of this, plus we could easily make another probably 2 or 3 plates. The total cost of this dish was probably less than $20 to make, 7 plates of this.
I have to say my octopus first.
That's okay.
I am gonna eat my sauce.
Connor, good job.
To finish us out, Taylor took to the kitchen to whip up her dish. The idea, a Spanish tortilla like the one we tried in Madrid on a bed of gazpacho? I worried it would be soggy, but she pressed ahead with her plans. She got the potatoes and veggies prepped and began sauteing them in a pan. Sadly, during the process, it was forgotten that flour was a key component of gluing together the tortilla. So instead of tortilla, the eggs were added into some browned veggies, making more of an omelet or an egg scramble. The immersion blender was used once more to puree the ingredients of the gazpacho, and soon she was ready to plate.
What did you make for us today? What did you make for us today? What did you make for us today?
Well, it was supposed to be a gazpacho-inspired tortilla. Yeah, it tastes so bland.
Yeah, super bland.
All right, well, we knew this would happen.
Out of all the dishes, what was your favorite?
Octopus.
All 3 of yours were pretty good, honestly. I was just trying to do something different. I like the shrimp. I liked it a lot. I thought it was like a really good balanced bite because I like the spice.
I like the octopus.
I rate mine at the highest. It's the dish I would want to eat again right away. I'm probably gonna go have some right now. I thought both of their pinchos were a good effort and both were something that I would like to have again. I would rank this at the bottom. Place 3.
Would you eat this again?
I would not eat this again.
Are you about to throw it in the trash right now?
No, I'll eat it. It's calories.
Who won the best dish? With 3 votes, the octopus wins, but everyone had a great effort, especially our little girls. Our eldest has particularly shown an interest in the kitchen, and it's getting increasingly fun to get her involved as she starts coming up with her own ideas. So, 2 weeks in, and while we're far from tapas experts, we're certainly converted fans. In Spain, you really can't go wrong with their little plates. You've got tapas, pinchos, and fusion. Each is unique, and collectively they offer an unlimited number of options with which to satiate your appetite. We plan to be back many times and look forward to whatever flavors our future trips to Spain will bring.
Hey Taylor, this way, left.